how to draw flats on Illustrator. Okay, so we're going to be using the template that I gave you that I provided for our class, and it has a croquis already on here. So if you started a blank, which is your template that you'll be using, but if you're creating them from scratch and you have a brand new document, you would go under File, select Place, and find your croquis, your template that you're using from your flash drive or wherever you have it saved. You would click Place, and it would place right onto your artboard. Our croquis is size, so it fits your artboard perfectly, so you don't need to do anything with it. You just go ahead and lock it, and you're good to go. Then go ahead and create another layer where it has the little template of a sleeveless top that you're going to be tracing as well. But before I do anything on that layer, I'm going to lock it and go back to my first layer. Actually, it says layer 2, but I'm going to call it croquis. And my layer on top, I'm going to call it top template. Click OK. One thing that they don't tell you in most tutorials out there is to use the rulers and the guidelines. So I recommend that you use your rulers and guidelines. So maybe not necessarily you're measuring a lot necessarily, or that you might be. So right now your file doesn't have any rulers, so you'd go under View and you click on Show Rulers, or Control R is the hotkey, and you have these rulers. And you can always change by double clicking into it, you can change the units of measurement on your ruler. And what you can do is you can click on the ruler, drag out, and you can get a line. This is called the guideline. This will not actually print. It's just there to help you as a guide. And this is very useful for mirroring, because we're going to be doing a symmetrical top, so we mirror. So I recommend you zoom in and make sure that your line is actually lined up with the center line of your croquis. Okay. You can also do horizontal. You can do as many, like across the apex. You can do one at the high hip, one for the ankles if you're doing pants to serve as kind of a guideline to remind you where the ankles are. You can always do any of those. They will not print, and whenever you drafted too many or you don't want them anymore, just select them, and with the selection tool, the black arrow, and then click delete, and they're gone. The one thing though I recommend is that you put it in the croquis layer, because if you put it on another layer where you trace, they can get in the way of reflecting or averaging your points, and you don't want to do that. So I'm going to lock that. I have my top template. I do want to dim these. Remember, you can dim these a little bit to make it easier to see when you trace. So I'm going to double click on both, and I'm going to dim the top to 40. Click OK, and then I'll dim it just a little bit. And I'm going to create a new layer, and this is where my tracing is going to go. So you can call it tracing, silhouette, shape. I'm going to call it shape. Click OK. And I'm going to make sure I have no fill, just the stroke color. I'm going to do contrasting colors. I'm going to do like red. And I'm going to make sure I zoom in. We're going to do a V-neck top, but we're going to start from the inside back. The back is scooping down a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and start from the center. As you can see, I'm in a different layer, so I'm not collapsing my layers. I only have one unlocked. And I'm going to go ahead and use my pen tool. And just go ahead and trace. Now, if you're not as fast as me, don't worry. It just takes a little practice. You just have to get that control over the pen tool. And then you'll be fine. So you're going to trace, press shift so it's nice and straight. Once you traced, You can click the eyeball so you don't have to see the other one anymore. And you can make the stroke a little thinner. I keep it at 1 point. You can do 0.75 as well. Once I'm done, I actually do want the stroke to be in black, which is better. And this is a chance to modify the shape. So if you don't like it, this is a chance to change it with the smooth tool. If you have to change anything, if you want to move anything with the white arrow, you do that. If you trace from scratch, if you notice the dimensions are a little bit above the body, the reason being is that if you trace right onto the figure, that would mean it's a very skin tight top, and this is not. This is kind of an easy fit top. It's not super tight, so it has to rest on top of the body, not actually touching the skin, or it'd be like, I don't know, super skin tight, Kim Kardashian tight, I guess. I don't know. So you need to leave a little bit of ease, and if it's the baggier, the more ease you have to leave. Okay, so here's the next step that we're going to create the other half, but since it's symmetrical, we're only doing half, and you're just going to mirror on over. And the way we do that is we use the reflect tool, but before we reflect, we want to make sure these 2 points are right on top of each other. They look like they are, but one might be slightly off. So what we're going to do is the direct selection tool, draft a little box, and pick up the first and last points. So picked up this and this. Don't worry, everything else is going to highlight, don't worry. With the white arrow, not the black, the white arrow, I picked up this point and that point. And I'm going to right click, and I'm going to select average. And I'm averaging the points. I'm averaging this point and that point, and it's on this axis. This is the horizontal axis, this is the vertical, the up and down. So I'm going to click on vertical, click OK, and it flushed. And you may or may not see a change. It makes sure that this point is directly on top of this point. Okay, so I average the points. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this half, and I'm going to select the reflect tool. It's right underneath the rotate tool. So see this little rotate symbol? You're going to uncollapse the menu, click reflect. Now once you click on the reflect tool, you're going to get this little bullet, okay, this bullseye, and you need to move that over to your vertical, your mirror line. So that's this right here. This is my mirror line. So you're going to move it on over to here, and you just need to click anywhere here between your first and last point. So between here and here. If you click here, that's too low. Click here, it's too high. Anywhere in between, you're good. Now that I click my mirror, I'm going to pick a little spot on top of it, and a little off to the left is good, like right where my cursor is pointing. I'm going to click here, and I'm going to slowly drag to my right. Okay, and when it's going to go close to where it needs to go on the other side, I'm going to click shift, and it kind of locks it, see? And I'm still holding on to my mouse, I'm still holding on to shift, and I'm also going to press alt, and it creates a copy. So you have that double arrow on my cursor. I'm going to release the mouse, release the keyboard buttons, and now I have a shape, an entire shape. Now, does that mean I have my top? Nope, because if you look, I selected, it only selects a half. Illustrator isn't reading it as one shape, it's reading it as 2 halves. So the way we do this is to make it one entire, so I can add fill to it. And look, see? If I didn't zoom in, I did this on purpose, you can see this tends to happen. You're not zoomed in, it's not straight, this is what you tend to get. So what you want to do is you're going to go ahead and drag with your white arrow, select these 2 points. So with the direct selection tool, select the 2 points, right click, and you're going to average, and this time both the vertical and the horizontal. I want these 2 points on top of each other. Click OK. There you go. Okay, I'm going to do, I'm going to zoom out, and the same here. I'm going to zoom in, not the size tool. I'm going to zoom in here, and I'm going to go ahead and select with the white arrow or the direct selection tool both points, right click, average on both the horizontal and vertical. And then what I can do is go ahead and while it's selected, click join. Now that they're average, I can join them. Now I have an older version of CS4, so it'll ask smooth or corner. The CS5 and CS6 won't ask this, but if you have a CS4 and older, it'll ask you corner smooth. I'm going to keep it a corner and say OK. And Same thing with the top. Join, corner, okay. And now look what happens when I select it. It selects it as one item. It is now one entire enclosed shape. So now this is my sleeveless top. Now this is just the top silhouette. Okay, this is just the top silhouette. We still need the front neckline. This is the back. We just need the details like the stitches and the front neckline. So on part 2, I'm going to show you how to do stitches and details. Okay? Thanks.